Been doing a bunch of riding and we've been having a lot of fun. I've been giving this sled to some guys that haven't really ridden much. Some guys who have ridden a little bit more than others aren't used to the old Elan and what it's like to try to get on something like that and ride it. So it's had a pretty hard winter here with a few of our trips. I didn't have my camera on at the time, but Jamie, our cameraman, who's pretty new to snowmobiling, this is his first year and he's only been on the Elan twice. He was a little worried about going up a hill and he said to me, I'm worried about this hill. I said, don't worry about it, just pin it, get to the top, and if I'm still at the top, I'll just tell you to stop if there's an issue. If I just keep going, don't worry about it, you can keep on going. So I climb up this hill and I'm right at the top. He pins it, goes right by me, goes off about a 6-7 foot cliff, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's at least like that. I'd say it was about that high. And he bails off the sled and this thing, pow, right into the ground. Of course, I didn't have my helmet camera on at the time because it just run out of batteries. And that's just the way it always goes. When you turn that camera off, that's when the good stuff happens. Anyway, this thing just landed face first into the powder. And you know what? No damage. Couldn't believe it. I thought the front end had caved in. I thought it wrapped up clutch to clutch. I thought that was the end of the Elan. But you know what? It turned out all right. There's no damage at all. Keely busted a ski, kinked it, and then the runner was sticking straight out on it. When he went to load it in the trailer, it got caught on the trailer, and his face went right into the bar. Just about broke his nose. I want to see what he looks like here in a little while. Everybody's going to ask what happened to him. I'm just going to tell him I punched him in the face because he was bugging me. But the Elan has been doing just great. Just need to make a few modifications. We'll do that over the summer. And that is the Elan update. We're going to rip these boards off, make some big custom boards for it so all the snow can fall out and these poor guys complain, oh, my feet keep falling off the running boards. And you know what? Complain all you want. The old Elan here, it'll always get you home. All right, so a couple of guys have said, the videos of the build are a little boring. There's not much information on there. Well, you know what? Sometimes in a build, things are just a little bit boring. And if I miss a few parts and I don't do the little things, somebody's going to complain that, hey, you missed this and that. I didn't get to see you install this. And I can't show you everything. If I don't have my cameraman here, it's kind of hard. But I do try to piece things together. Sometimes all the videos, they're just not all that interesting. But I still got to put them on there because it is a build series and it's part of building that sled. I can always promise that if one video is not that exciting and doesn't have that much information, that I'll probably make up for it in another one. If you already haven't done so, go to my Facebook page, PowerModz, like it, go on there and send me pictures of your ride. I want to see what your sled looks like. I want to see what you're riding. I want to see what your projects are. Just blast my page with your photos. I just want to see what's going on out there and all the cool ideas that you guys have. Go into your old pictures from when you were a kid back in the 70s. Send me pics of you and your family riding the old sleds. That's all fun stuff. It's pretty cool. So, we might as well share that all together and see what you guys are doing. The season's kind of running to an end around here at least. Some guys in the eastern United States, it's over. Some guys never really had a season. So let's share those pictures and see what you guys are riding. Now we're going to check out the REV. REV's been running awesome. I did have 3 seizures in that motor. It stopped 3 times. A lot of guys would say, hey, why'd you start it? You should have just towed it in and see what the problem was. But I'll be honest with you. You guys know how I operate. Everything here is a bit of an experiment for me. You guys get to learn through my mistakes and through my disasters, and I want to see what that motor can do. I knew that I didn't have a real issue as far as coolant temperature goes. It was running around 130, 140s. That's not hot at all. Exhaust gas temps were right down, 1,000 degrees. It's not very hot, so it seized up. So, I'm thinking maybe a little hot for an instant, maybe because of the hot curve I had put in that computer. So don't forget that the Skidoo Race Department programmed that computer so that it's running on about 94 octane. It's climbing hills. I'm working it pretty hard for short little bursts here and there. It wasn't really set up for running on the trails. So what I'm thinking, low to mid-range lean, lots of spark there, a little too much maybe advance in the timing for what I was doing. Just a constant kind of speed, about 60, 80 kilometers an hour. And you know what, it just got hot. Maybe the ring gap a little too tight on it, and it just sort of seized up. But anyway, it started up the first time, Then I changed the pilot jets right there and then on the trail. Then I drove it again, same thing, seized up again. The motor would just stop solid. There would be nothing, couldn't pull the cord, couldn't turn the clutch. Not even a minute later I could do it. So on the last seize, you know what, it turned right away. Still had all my power, so not a big deal. Didn't really worry me a lot. And you know, we went out the next day and I just pounded that thing. 8,000 RPM up all the hills all day long, didn't miss a beat. So we're gonna check the compression on it, see how that's doing. And I got a whole bunch of parts from First Place Parts here. All those little trinkets are going on that sled. They're pretty cool, and I have more coming as well. So you know what, the build process hasn't even stopped. Got lots more cool stuff coming on. Slp Powder Pro skis. Pretty nice. Have to mount the kit up in here and the carbides as well. I don't get a really aggressive carbide because I don't drive the trails, and really aggressive carbides just kind of bother me. A little bit too aggressive. By the way, I found this on eBay, lightweight rotor. I think it cost me $30 with the jack shaft, which looks new. So I've got a spare jack shaft with a good bearing on it. I'm gonna put this lightweight rotor on as well. Now here's a cool little gizmo right here, the Liquivac. You can change your oil, pull your coolant out of your sled. Basically a little hand pump vacuum kind of deal. It's going to work great for pulling that coolant out. You don't get it all over the floor. You know, we've used some shop vacs and whatnot, but this here, nice and quiet, easy to use. We'll be using that when I do a couple mods to this sled that's going to be coming up soon. Team Aftermarket clutch alignment tool. An SLP high flow intake kit. Comes with everything you need. Some gasket material. Instructions. Hopefully this is going to eliminate a little bit of weight. Maybe I can get rid of that air box. I have to see. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to go through that in a little while. Of course, we'll make a build video on that. Hopefully some of you guys will find it interesting. This SLP torque arm is for the REV, of course. I'm going to install that. You're going to say, hey, why you're running a torque arm? You're only running a 700 in there. Well, you know what? That motor does move a lot under a lot of stress, and I'm kind of almost putting out around the same power as the 800, as you might see with the race beside me and Eric. It's putting out some pretty good power. Not only that, I got some plans for that sled. I'm putting some big power in it for next year. So, torque arms going in. V-force reeds with the boots. Everything you need to install them. Those are going to be going in as well. And you know what, I'll see if there's a difference between the Boysons and the V-Force. Who knows, let's see, you know. I've had no issues with the Boyson. They seem to work well. But let's try these out. It's always in the back of my mind, I'm wondering if my track is going to get stabbed. Maybe you find a stump that's hidden under the snow, maybe a rock climbing up one of those power lines, and maybe it drives the track into the rails. You know, that's a real issue. Happens a lot to guys. Not when you have these. That's the anti-stab kit, and that's going on my skid. Ultra high strength rope for your recoil. $4.20 a foot. This is 7 feet. It'll do the recoil no problem. Nothing worse than having your recoil rope snap on the trail when you're out playing with your buds, and especially if you're in the powder and you have to use your clutch to start with the emergency tool, not fun. Very similar to what I was using when I was in my sailing days. This stuff is awesome. It's going to work great. That's going to go in. I'll show you guys how to put a new rope on your recoil. That is my filter from just the other day. Now this not only has a lot of cattails in it and tree bark and all kinds of other stuff and grass, but it gets packed full of snow and ice, and you know, you're ingesting water, and that's not a good thing. So First Place Parts sent me this SLP Powder Pre-Filter. Just goes over top of this. I'm not going to put it on right now. I don't want to get the filter full of stuff on the inside. But this doesn't let water in, and it doesn't let all that nasty stuff get inside your air box too. Now, yes, I'm going to be running with that SLP high flow intake, but for the time being, you know what, I'm going to put it on here if I get any extra rides in before I do that, and when I'm done, I think I'll give it to Keely. Otherwise, he'll sort of whine and complain if it's just sitting on that shelf, or he'll probably just steal it off my sled or off the shelf anyway. So, one of us is going to be using this. Highly recommended. This material that they have out now for not letting the water in, it's a bonus to have. A great other little tool to have, definitely on your sled, and a very easy installation, quick clickers. Now, these allow you to adjust your clutch on the trail in a matter of seconds with this little tool here. So very handy little thing to have and a super easy installation. Only $49.95 to put that in. Really simple to install. Bonus to have. Well, there you go. What, about 70 pounds? Run like a champ. So I either fix that one or I run that 800. So yeah, I'll take a few days to think about it. Probably going to run the 800. Anyway, always good times, snowmobiles. Not like back in the 70s when you'd ride for an hour and drench for 10 hours. Oh no, wait. It's exactly the same as the 1970s. Yeah. Well, that's it. There's a little update for you. You get to see all the stuff that's going on. We talked a little bit about the Elan. Lots of cool parts here. When you want to buy any of them, make sure you give firstplaceparts.com a call. Check them out because I think they have some giveaways coming up. I have some giveaways coming up as well. I just got to get the videos online so you can see what we have in store. But when you want to buy this, give firstplaceparts.com a call. Tell them I sent you. Check us both out on Facebook because we have all kinds of cool stuff up and down on there all the time. And I got to thank you for coming. Always enjoy when you come back. I'm Louis Skibo with PowerModz.